Well, hello everybody. I love you so much and I'm so excited for Christmas. You can see I'm wearing my Santa hat and we're just having fun over here. We're in Arizona where it's still pretty warm. Although it's getting colder, it's under 60 degrees and there was almost a little bit of frost last night. And so it puts us in the Christmas spirit. And on our TV, I've been playing a YouTube thing that has a fireplace. And so it looks like we have a fireplace in our living room with crackling wood and the fire going, and it plays Christmas carols, so that's sort of fun too. Maybe you'd want to do something like that at your house. But so on our TV in the living room, I have a fire going and Christmas carols going. Well, I wanted to read you a story as we get ready for Christmas. I've read it before, but it's a great story. It's called The Legend of Candy Cane. And it's a pretty big book. Holy cows, it's a big book. So anyway, I thought I'd read it because I just think it's fun to cozy up and read during Christmas season. And so we're looking forward to that. And I hope you guys are looking forward to having Christmas. Isn't this a fun time of year? You get to dress up with silly hats and snuggle up and enjoy the holiday season. And it seems like it sort of starts with Halloween, and then we have Thanksgiving, and then we have Christmas. And for us, at least, the weather gets really nice this time of year, and it's really fun. When I go out on my bike ride, it's actually almost a little bit cold, and I have to wear a sweatshirt and sometimes gloves, but it's just a big change. So let me go ahead and read this fun story, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, here we go. One dreary evening in the depths of November, a stranger rode into town. And here's a picture, if you can see a stranger on a horse, and he stopped in front of a sort of a boarded up old building that says for lease, and that means you can pay to sort of use it. You don't own it, but you get to pay to use the building, sort of like renting. So a man rode into town. He stopped his horse in front of a lonely storefront. The windows were boarded shut and the door was locked, but the man looked at it, smiled, and said, "It will do." So whatever he saw, he thought it would work for whatever he wanted to do. I wonder what he's going to want to do. All through the gray short days and the long dark nights of November, the man worked and worked and worked. The townspeople could hear the faint pam, pam, pam of his hammer and the swish, swish, swish of his saw. You've seen saws where you go shh, 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 shh. And here's a picture. He's inside and he's working, and look at the people. They walk by and they can see that he's in there working. Look at them, looking at what he's doing. They could smell the sweet, clean scent of new lumber and deep, oily smell of new paint. But no one knew who the man was or what he was doing. What do you think he's doing? He's in there working, and he's working a lot. Look at the people looking at him. Nobody knows what he's up to. The mayor hoped he was a doctor to help heal people whenever they had a sickness. The young wives hoped he was a tailor to make beautiful dresses. The farmers hoped he was a trader to exchange their grain for goods. But the children had the strongest, deepest wish of all, a wish they did not tell their parents. A deep, quiet, secret wish that none of them wanted to say out loud. No one spoke to the man. No one asked if he needed help. They just waited and watched and wondered and wished. There's the people, and they're thinking about, what is that man doing? What in the world could he be up to? But one small girl watched and wondered, waited and wished longer than she could stand. And one snowy day, she knocked on the door. "Hello," he said as he opened the door. She said, "My name is Lucy. Do you need some help?" "There's Lucy. We have a Lucy in our family, and this is a Lucy in the story." "Hi, Lucy. I hope you're listening. You can hear a story about Lucy." A long counter, he invited her in, and she stepped inside, and she saw a long counter ran down the side of the room. Bare shelves filled the opposite walls. In the back were dozens and dozens of barrels and crates and boxes. "Could you help me unpack?" the man asked. So there's Lucy, and he invited her in, and she saw a long countertop with tons of shelves, and in the back was boxes and barrels and crates full of something. She didn't know what it was, and he said, "Can you help me unpack?" Lucy's heart sank at the sight of all the boxes. What if they were only barrels of nails or bags of flour? She was hoping that was not what they were. But she removed her dripping boots and hung her coat on a peg. There's Lucy hanging her. Look at the snow outside. And there's Lucy getting ready to help unpack. She's hanging her coat. On stocking feet, she crossed the rough wooden floor and knelt beside a crate. A crate is like a wooden box. "Please open it," the man urged. Slowly, Lucy put her hand into the box and pulled out an object wrapped in tissue. Round and heavy, it almost slipped through her fingers. Lucy trembled a little as she started to unwrap it. She was nervous. She didn't know what it was, and she was hoping it might be something really fun, but she had no idea what it was. It was a glass jar. Lucy gave the man a puzzled look. "Go on," his nod said. So she unpacked another glass jar and another, until she was completely surrounded by glass jars of all shapes and sizes, tall and thin, round and short, jars with lids and jars without. "Now," the man said, "for something to put inside," and he pulled over a huge crate stamped with a strange word. That's a crate, and he's using a crowbar, to help pull up the lid. The lid is usually nailed on, so he was trying to pry it up. And look at all the jars behind Lucy. She had been unpacking jars and jars. She's got a jar in her hand. And look at all the jars she's putting on the shelf behind her. Well, we need to find out what's in the crate. Can you say crate? That's how they used to ship a lot of stuff. They didn't have a lot of cardboard. It was hard to make cardboard, but they had lumber, and they could make boxes out of wood. And so look at what that wooden box looks like. Can you think you might be able to make a wooden crate? Oh my gosh, I just saw what was in the... Oh my gosh, look at what came out. He opened the crate, and what was it full of? Look at Lucy's face. It's full of candy, all kinds of different candy. And back then, candy wasn't something you saw very often. And kids and adults and everybody loved candy. As Lucy unpacked, her eyes lit up. It was candy, her favorite candy, gumdrops. Try some, the man said. She popped one in her mouth. Now she could hardly unwrap fast enough. Peppermint sticks, taffy, lollipops, chewing gum. Wide-eyed, she looked at the man. "We wished," Lucy said. "Yes, I know," said the man. "And here it is. Welcome to Sonneman's Candy Store. I am John Sonneman." Look at her surprise and happiness. Would you like to be like Lucy? And isn't it nice? She knocked on the door and asked him if he wanted help, because she was willing to help no matter what was in there. And it was wonderful what was in there. Look at all the different kinds of candy. She wanted to try everything, I'm sure. Soon the small store was filled with candies, gleaming in their glass jars. Look at this. They're unloading, and there's the big countertop the man had built. And look at the shelves behind him. Look at all the candy. Can you see different kinds of candy in each different jar? So people could come in and buy the candy, and they could point to what they wanted, because a clear glass jar, they could see the candy. Oh my gosh. Soon the small store was filled with candies gleaming in their glass jars. Raspberry suckers and tiny lemon drops, brightly colored jawbreakers, and large tangles of licorice, pink and white peppermints for church, and butterscotch balls for company. Then in the very last package, in the very last crate, was a candy Lucy had never seen before. A red and white striped candy stick with a crook on the top. "What is this?" Lucy asked. Oh my, look what she found. She'd never seen one before. What do you think that is? There's Mr. John Sonneman, and there's Lucy, and she pulled out a crate that had a lot of these in it. What do you think they are? This, Mr. Sonneman explained, is a candy cane. It is a very special Christmas candy. "Why?" asked Lucy. "Tell me," Mr. Sonneman said, "what letter does it look like?" Lucy took the candy and turned it in her hand. "A J," she said. "It's backwards on what you're seeing, but it looks like a J." "Yes," Mr. Sonneman smiled. "J is for Jesus, who was born on Christmas Day." So it sounds like a candy cane helps us think about Jesus. Now turn it over. What does it remind you of? Lucy turned the candy in her hand. She peered down intently. "I know," she finally said. "It's like a shepherd's staff." This is what she was thinking of. Look at the shepherd's staff when they were waiting for Jesus. Look in the new star, but look at the shepherd's staff. It helps the shepherds keep track of the sheep and help to move them around, and they can use it as a walking stick. "Who were the first to find out about Jesus' birth?" Mr. Sonneman asked. "Shepherds in the field," Lucy answered, "watching over their flocks by night." And there you can see them when they saw that first star that told everybody that Jesus had been born. "But Mr. Sonneman, what are the stripes for?" Lucy asked. The man's eyes grew sad. The prophet Isaiah in the Bible said, "By his stripes we are healed." Before he died on the cross, Jesus was whipped. He bled terribly. The red reminds us of the suffering he did. But then Mr. Sonneman continued, the candy is white as well. When we give our lives to Jesus, his blood washes away our sins, making us pure white like the driven snow. So clean and pure. And we've talked about that as the atonement, that Jesus gave us all a great gift. That, he said, is the story of the candy cane. Is it a secret, Lucy asked. Mr. Sonneman looked at her for a long moment. It's a story that needs to be told, and we need to be reminded of it over and over again, he said. Will you help me share this magic story? Okay. It was now the depths of December. The town was whipped around by blizzard winds. For days the sun hid itself as the storms came and so much snow fell. But every morning Mr. Sonneman and Lucy ventured out. They wore heavy woolen coats and bright hand-knit scarves, and in their stiff mittened fingers they each held a bag. Look at them. They're going around the town. There's Mr. Sonneman, and they're taking candy canes and they're putting them in places where people can be reminded about Jesus. And look what they're doing. So they went to every house in town. They traveled to every farm in the country. They knocked on every door, and in every home they told the story about Jesus. And they left a small gift and they gave an invitation. So each family was getting some candy canes. Have you guys had any candy canes this year so far? On the afternoon of Christmas Eve, the sun finally broke through the clouds, and Sonneman's candy store officially opened up for the very first time. The mayor came, feeling better than he'd felt in days. The young wives came, dressed in beautiful smiles. The farmers came, eager to trade grain for Christmas gifts. The children ran in dizzying circles. Yes, their wish had come true. Yes, they had come to share in the opening of the candy store. But they shared something more, something bigger, something better. That's the opening day. Do you see Lucy? She's standing behind the counter, helping the kids get their favorite candies. And there's Mr. Sonneman. He looks like he's greeting everybody, and he's handing out candy canes. Look at the town people. They must be so excited. On that Christmas Eve, they shared the story of the candy cane. They told everyone of the miracle of Christ's birth, the misery of his death, and the mercy of his love. Look at that. Look at the town, so pretty. And that is the story of the candy cane. And this is called The Legend of Candy Cane. The Legend of the Candy Cane. So it looks like a J, which reminds us of Jesus. It looks like a shepherd's staff, which reminds us of when Jesus was born. And the colors of red and white show that Christ suffered for us. And then we can become, because of the atonement, we can become as pure can be. And that is wonderful. I am so grateful for Christmas and for Jesus, and I hope you just love this wonderful time of year. And remember, I love you so much. Have a great Christmas, and I'll see you soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.